The question is it possible to avoid devastating losses in a casino? And first we have to see what devastating could mean to different people. It could be different amounts. But if you are a traveling card counter, there's really no way to avoid it because you usually have to walk in with large amounts of cash, uh, because you can't go to you can't drive 200 miles to just lose or just make $200. That doesn't make any sense. You need to stay in that casino until you make, at least maybe 700 or more, really. You need to make a lot of money at each stop. So it's very possible. Again, it's the coin toss situation where, um, you could have a really bad or negative shoe after negative shoe after negative shoe, and when your count is negative, you got to keep losing. I mean, you'll win some here and there, but normally you just keep losing, and you're sitting there for hours waiting for those positive shoes, right? So it's very possible to lose 3 or 4 thousand during negative shoes, and then not just that, but even when the count is positive, everything should be going great. Again, we can run into a coin toss situation where the count is positive and you're going from $10 table minimum to 3 hands of max, say like whatever it is, $500 per hand, and you just happen to have bad cards dealt to you. And in one hand you get 12, the dealer's got an ace. And it's nearly impossible to bust with an ace, right? So you lose that hand because the cards, when it's positive, the cards are going to be high cards like tens and nines, and so you could have three terrible hands, and right there you lose $1,500. Just one hand you lose $1,500. So it can easily lose 3,000. There are traveling card counters that lose $50,000 in one night. That's really it's almost normal. But then, so it takes them a long time to get that money back. But they do get it back. And some people just quit doing it because they just think that's just too much money to lose in one night, and they're not willing to go through that devastation. So people just quit. When you're playing locally, it's a little different. Okay, devastation and locally would be if you lose so much that it could take you days to recoup. That's kind of devastating because, and this is why you really shouldn't take that much with you to a casino, because what happens is that let's say you're happy with making $300 a day, okay, locally. So if you lose 300 one day, what's the big deal? Next day, you probably make 300, and some days you make 600, 700. Sometimes you make 1,500 from different games, right? So it's no big deal. So why would you even carry 2,000, 3,000? Because you're not going to be betting that much. So it's a little different. when you're playing locally, you're you're limiting your wins. So what happens on a Monday? Let's say all you can win on a Monday at one casino is going to be $200 to $300 without making you know uh, making it before standing out. Where the surveillance might start looking at you, right? So you make $200 to $300 on a Monday at that casino. Let's say Tuesday you do the same. Okay. Wednesday you do the same. Thursday is you lose 300. So you lose and you lose, And what you probably have to do to make it up, if you usually just win, if you quit after making $200 to $300 every day, and you have a bad day, you lose some money, then that might mean that you might have to go to two casinos on, say, like on a Thursday, which is okay. I mean, you can go to one casino and play cards, make $200-300 there, and hope maybe you have a good day playing craps. And there's no limit on that. You can make $3,000-4,000 in a craps game, and nobody's gonna care. So you can make it up that way, or if you don't want to play craps, and slot machines are risky. I mean, there's even if you have designated slot machines that pay you, there's still a possibility that that particular day, you don't. It's not like a blackjack where you can control it, right? It's just that you've found slot machines that have paid you over and over, So, but there's no guarantee that that today they'll pay you too. The times that you go in there and they don't pay, okay. But 89% of the time they do pay, okay. So, or less than that, I would say 70%, 75% of the time they pay, and that's all you can expect. And that's all you need, because you can tell after you get some kind of a little bit of training from us. Within $20, you can tell if the machine's going to pay or not. There's certain things you can look for. So you're not dropping $700-800. Within $20 you can tell. So that's I would say if you need to recoup some money, you'd need to go blackjack and a craps game. Other games, or possibly Spanish 21, possibly. But those are the craps, and then blackjack are something you can really depend on heavily. So you may even have to go to 2 different card rooms if you really need to make up that loss quickly. But when you're traveling, what you want to do is you're going to get kicked out of casinos that you go anyway, right? So you might as well just win as much as you can. Just keep winning and keep winning until suddenly you start to run into bad shoes and start losing. Then you can't keep losing, right? So you gotta quit at that point. You've already made, say, like $4,000 or $2,000 or whatever, and then all of a sudden when you start to lose again, well, then that doesn't really make sense. Maybe it's time to quit, or maybe you're just tired. You're tired, and then you start to make mistakes when you're tired. So that's devastating. You can't make mistakes in this business. So then you gotta quit. So those are possibilities that happen, and you just need to quit, right? But as a general rule, what you want to do is you want to keep winning as long as the shoe's positive and you're winning, you want to keep winning, because what happens when you run into a negative situation, negative day at the next casino, it could be big. Your negative day could be, you could lose easily, just like we just explained a minute ago. You could lose $3,000 just, you know, in no time. You can lose 3,000 for. So how are you gonna make that up? You know, how do you make up $3,000 loss? You know, you can't do it if, in other words, if you go to casinos and just make $600 and say, okay, well, that's enough, you know. And it's not enough. $600. You have to make as much as you can. You don't leave the casino unless you're losing or you're just dead tired where you can't make it because of devastating days. You know, if you just make 3,600 or 500 or 400 a day, when you lose $3,000, it's going to take you 2 weeks to make it up. So that's like a mini devastation, you know. Locally, for that reason, you need to limit how much you bring with you to the casino. Since you're not going to have $3,000-$4,000 days, this is a different way. This is a different system. You just have to say, this is not my day, because what happens if you lose? Say like you lose. Let's say you bring $2,000 with you to a local casino, and you're having a bad day. You know, you start the shoe, and it's negative, and the next shoe is negative, and you keep losing and losing and losing, right? So surveillance knows how much you're losing. They know how much you cashed in, and now, you know, you keep going and keep going. And I've had days where I lost $1,500 locally. And then I made a big risk or mistake, whatever you want to call it, and I went to the high limit room because they have double deck blackjacks in there. And tables are $25, so you can really go through tons of hands quickly, you know, because I can't sit there for 10 hours to get my $1,200 back. I'm already tired, you know. So I go over and start playing double deck, and I go from 25, which is the table minimum, not even that high. I might go two hands of 100 or 150 each, you know. And so within 2-3 hours, I can make my money back, you know. I can get my $1,200 back. I don't do this anymore, but I used to. You know? So I get my $1,200 back, and probably $300 or $400 profit for the day on top of regaining my losses, right? So, but you have to understand something. To regain my losses was $1,200, right? And I want another $300-$400 to take home as a profit for the day. That's $1,500. To surveillance, that's a problem, serious problem. I was just lucky that, you know, I would say they're still good, but I haven't been back there for a long time. In fact, I haven't played cards in those couple of casinos that have double decks. I haven't played cards in a long time, maybe 6 months or a year. So the only time they see me back there is to play craps or machines, or once in a while I play baccarat, or I don't even play Spanish Tournament 1. But if I went back, it's possible that they'd back me off. Very possible. So So that's going to be the problem if you bring with you $2,000 and you're having a bad day. What are you going to do? You can't just, you know, so here's the situation. If you only bring a certain amount, like $300 or $500, and you're having a bad time, okay, the shoe is negative, and you keep losing and losing, and you lose the entire 300. Now that's no big deal. I mean, he can make 300 in one day, or probably a couple of hours. So it's a whole different game here. Playing locally is a whole different game. I would say don't ever bring ATM cards, credit cards, and don't even bring large amounts of cash. When you lose, you go home, or maybe you could go to another casino, but don't bring a lot of money to one casino, because what's going to happen is you're going to get frustrated. People, when they lose, people get frustrated. And then you get to a point where you say, I don't even care. You're not going to care anymore about losing that casino. And you do need to care. It's just at that moment you're frustrated and you're not thinking logically. It's no big deal. Losing $300 is no big deal. But at the moment, it's not the 300 that's irritating. It's losing. Maybe the dealer is irritating you, or other players are irritating. And now you want to get back at them, or get back at the world, or at the playing world, and you start dishing out more money and more money, and the more money you dish out, more you're gonna lose. So, and that's when you get in trouble, because now you've lost 1,500, and to gain it back, you're not, the surveillance is gonna start looking at you. See, so it's a whole different way of thinking. So I would just limit $300, on a casino visit. And if you need to go to another casino, maybe leave the money in your car or something. Don't bring it with you. And hopefully, when you walk over by the time you get to your car, you've released some of your stress and frustration, and you're starting to think wisely, and you don't go back to that same casino and keep losing there. Hopefully, you're wise enough to get in your car and go to a second casino and just bring 300 to that casino. This is how you're gonna have to do it, So technically, you should not have a devastating day when you're playing locally, but it easily can happen when you have many days of winnings. If you're winning $700 on a Monday, you win $1,400 on a Tuesday, another $800 on a Wednesday. It just keeps going like that. You know what's gonna happen? On the following Monday, you just, wherever you keep your cash, you just grab a whole bunch of hundreds, put it in your wallet, and you head over to a casino. That's when the mistakes happen. Usually when you've been winning a lot, because you have tons and tons of hundreds, and you just grab it. Don't grab it. You just grab 300. Or let's say you want to grab 1,000. That's fine. But then don't take the entire 100,000 to inside it one casino. Leave 700 in a car or something. Or if you go to an ATM, whatever. Only take with you a certain amount that you can easily regain the following day. And make sure you have no access to cash after you lose that amount. Whatever that might be. I think locally, $300 should be a limit. $400 max. You don't need more because it's not that you can't recover it, it's just that you don't look good recovering it. I hope that makes sense. The surveillance is not going to like it when you start to regain $700 that you lost. So don't even lose that much. Just realize that's your limit for that casino that day. $300 or $400. That's all you're gonna spend there. You just have to drive if you really need to get that money back. Because hopefully in the next casino, and it could same thing. I've had that happen. I went to 2 or 3 card rooms in one day, and I lost at all of them. But still, that's $900. That's not devastating. I've had many days over 1,000. But if I lost $2,000 or $3,000, that's tough locally. It's gonna take a few days to gain that back. So you just have to, you win smaller amounts, but you also lose smaller amounts. So it works out at the end, because you could have a losing streak where you just go through days and days. That happens to everybody, and you cannot avoid that. There's nothing you can do about that. That's different. But on a regular basis, you're going to win many days, and then you have a bad day. You lose money that way. So many days you win anywhere from $300 to $1,500, and one day you lose $300. Big deal. Who cares? The next day you probably win, the next day, and then all of a sudden on the 7th day you lose again. Big deal. See, because you have all these winnings. And the most you could lose is 300, right? Because that's all you bring with you. So if you have many days of 300 up to 1,500, when you add that up, you've made about 3,000, and you lose 300. Big deal. You see, but you can't have a day where you suddenly lose 3,000 locally, because now you lost everything you've made in 2 weeks, or whatever, 1 week or something. So really, to avoid devastating days locally, is just don't bring that much to the casino. Really, that's the solution. Maybe you can figure a system for yourself where you put 300 in separate envelopes, so that when you're rolling, you're really rolling, you don't get all, crazy and start grabbing $1,000, $2,000 at a time. So, hope this makes sense, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Goodbye.